if the river was restored. Now here's that aerial view. Here's another view of it. This is all a blockage. When the first year that the paddle Florida people came through, this was all blocked. This little white thing right there, that's my boat. So that gives you the idea of the scale. It was blocked for about 2 miles. So
What
this
is it blocked with?
Vegetation.
water lettuce and water hyacinth, and then the dollar weed grows through. It just makes a big mat, and it just sits there. So this was just a couple of months after the last drawdown. The reason they do the drawdown is to flush all this stuff out. And in a couple months, it was already blocked. And the long story is, with Paddle Florida people, they had 65 boats come in right here, and I went out there in the morning and called Mickey, the Greenways manager, and said, Mickey, it's still blocked. So he goes, I'm on the way. So he has an airboat, and he has this big fork that he puts on the bow. He can raise it up and lower it, and he's trying to push all that through. Well, his airboat's about the size of my boat. That's a lot to push through, and it's all locked up. So you push this through, and then it comes up here, and then it hits this. And so he said, well, I was just sitting there floating along, because, you know, when you can't tell where the river is. When you get there in kayak, you know, you can't see over all this stuff. You don't know what's going on. And they've never been out there. So he said, tell them to wait and just follow, tell them to follow me. You know, I'll come back and get everything. Has anybody ever been behind an airboat in a kayak? I mean, right behind. Like, near your camera, right behind. It's not pleasant. It's the oily water, you know, it's nasty.
Yeah.
So only as soon as he would go forward, I said, get up there and, you know, keep really close together, because as soon as he went through it, then it would all close together again. So 2 to 3 people at a time followed him through all that. And it took a while. They did it, and people got a little nervous. But so that's one reason why Mickey doesn't want the Paddle Florida people coming out here. So that way, you know, he doesn't have to mess with it. Now this is a fun little nugget. This is in the Greenways plan. The Greenways managers are asking what to do, asking for guidance from the state. FWC went out, all these little white marks here, those are all locations of unpermitted docks on public property. This is Lake Ocklawaha. This is right across from Kenwood Landing here. This guy built a boathouse out, that's on public land. And in the Greenways plan, it says there's over 100 unpermitted docks on Greenways property. They're encroaching. They're cutting down trees, they're mowing, they're building structures. This is the biggest one. And that's all on your property. It'd be like going out to the state park here and saying, I like this area, I'm going to build a cabin, put a lock on it for my family, and you all stay out. But I'm using this land. That's what they're doing. And the state knows it. And they know we know. They know we know.
Why can't they be fined? Why can't they fine them?
I don't know. I can't get an answer to that. Why don't they make them tear it down?
The Save Rodney people had Kirkpatrick on their side, and had a lot of political clout. They don't want it. The same people, Oak Run, the developer of Oak Run, which backs up to the Greenway, the Shangri-La part of the Greenway, told his people that if they backed up to it, they could make gardens out onto it, and Mickey made all them. I mean, one guy had an irrigated half-acre garden out on Greenway, and they came in and fenced it and made them get all that off of the Greenway, but they won't do it.
Why are they doing that there? These guys are every time there's a drawdown, they build more stuff.
Money, because they have money and political power.
They're not fancy houses. Some of them are. I mean, it's not, I don't know. It's one of the great mysteries of the universe to me. And Mickey, the Greenways manager, told me a couple of years ago, they told them all they will give them permits, but they have to sign a waiver saying if something changed, like the river was restored. See, this guy, they won't have waterfront property like that when the river's restored. It'll go back to being a river
So
that
that's
lake.
why Yeah.
So if
When
they would give them permits if they
It's 4
signed
miles.
that they would not sue the state if the river was restored and they lost their waterfront property. And nobody signed it. Nobody signed it, so nobody has a permit. It's crazy.
So no one has
How do
a
you
permit.
sue
No.
the state if you're the one doing the illegal act?
Exactly, yeah. Good luck getting
They
answers.
put
This is,
Harris, they bought it with
this is kinda hard to see,
waterfront property and they,
but,
so you can't take it away from them.
a tournament will usually have like 50 to 100 boats. Maybe once, sometimes twice a month at Kenwood. This is Kenwood ramp here. This is during the drawdown. When it's not the drawdown, this whole area is flooded. This is about 4 feet deep right here, and this whole thing is a big lake. When they draw the reservoir down, so the river goes back into its channel, this is out there underneath the lake all the time. You can drive out here. They put a little gravel in down here so you can get your boat in. It's a temporary ramp. And this is, that's Saturday, and there was no tournament, and there was about 150 cars out there, but it's like that, well, trucks with boats out. But it's like that all during the week. There's tons of people that use it. And then this is, like a month later after water's back up, and that's how many people were out. So you can see a lot more people go out there when the water's down, and you can get into that river. This is the Save Rodman group. They have a tournament once a year, and they are coming back from the St. John's River, coming through the Buckman Locks, racing back to Kenwood for the weigh-in, where they stand up and say, Save Rodman, and they hold up the fish that they caught in the St. John's River. And take pictures. And then they let them go in Rodman. And
Oh, so they're putting the fish back in the
From
lake.
somewhere else.
yeah, and they're allowed to do that, but the point is, they're going from Kenwood out to the St. John's River, and about a half to a third of them do that. There's usually about 100 boats. Well, if they want to save Rodman, why don't they stay in the stupid Rodman and fish in there, you know, if you like it so much. April 20th is the next tournament. I drove over the bridge 4 times. You can't stop, so I just hold up the camera. And I have a bunch of these pictures because these boats were just
Wake,
constantly.
will the wake cause issues on
No, no.
Oh, they don't care about that.
Too much
They go out there
vegetation,
because
the wake
the
doesn't do
winners
anything.
catch them out in the St. John.
Yeah.
A lot of times,
Well,
yeah.
well, I read someplace or saw it on TV or something that there really isn't hardly any fish in the Rodman. So they
There's
have.
fish, they catch bass in there, and every time they have a tournament, there's more, because, there's a 5 fish, bag, so everybody's trying to catch 5 fish. So if you have 100 boats, and, say everybody catches at least 3, which they almost always all get 5. And then they let them go, that's like their little restocking.
Well, that's
informal
what I
restocking
mean, that
plan.
it's
Yeah.
not, they're taking them out of the St. John's and putting them in
Mhm.
there, acting like, oh, people have, you know, there's good fishing in Rodman Dam.
Yeah, and they used to always have all the tournaments in the newspaper, and it said if they caught them in St. John's, it did say that, but
Okay.
there's less and less of them, in the paper anymore.
Mm.
I guess because we've been saying, why are you going to St. John's? If you like Rodman so much, they're holding the Akawaha hostage as a launch site to the St. John's River, is what they're doing. That's the same canal. This is Buckman Locks back here. This happened 5 times last year. That's mostly water lettuce, and there's water hyacinth right here. And see where it's brown down here? They sprayed this whole thing with herbicides.
Mm.
And then they open the lock down here, and the water goes this way, goes towards the lock. So this dead crab goes into the lock, goes out to the St. John's River. In December, there was a fish kill there because it removes the oxygen when they spray too much. And so the dead fish and the dead plants were washing out into St. John's. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight. Nasty. there he is, spraying away. They spray that whole thing, and it's twice this length. I'm on the bridge there, so there's, this is the other direction, so this whole thing will fill up too, the whole thing.
Do you know how much money is brought in by those tournaments?
There was an economic study done by UF, well, you know, we were a part of that found that, I'm gonna get to that,
Okay.
because I got the chart. Here, this is just, you can't see this at all, but this is the lock tenders report. And right here, that was the, during the Save Rodman tournament, 176 people locked out. And up here, the normal locking time, this is probably a tournament here too, it's like 0, 0, 0. How many people are going from the St. Johns River into the Ocklawaha? 2, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Mostly zeros, and then you have the Save Rodman tournament, 66 boats, 174 people. Going to the St. John's. You follow me what they're doing? It's
Yeah. I know.
it's crazy. Save Rodman. Let's go, St. John's. This is the Orange Springs boat ramp blocked up. This happens in the summer, over and over. And it don't sit like that for a month or two till people really get complaining.
Isn't there some kind of use for that stuff? Like- No?
Well, it's cheaper to spray it. They don't want to harvest it
harvest
mechanically, but you know, there was earlier this year, people have really been complaining because of the water quality getting so bad all over the state from spraying so much. This could be harvested mechanically, but it's cheaper just to spray it, so that's what they do.
Well, what would they do with it if they harvest it?
They just dump it on the ground and it rots. There's no economic.
So there's
There's
no-
farms that said
You
they
can
would
use
take
it for biofuel
Yeah.
or.
You can use it for fertilizer.
So
When
this
they
is
spray it, it rots on the bottom and it smells like a septic tank.
yeah.
Right,
and-
Right,
right,
when
right,
they
right,
spray
right.
it, but if they were to harvest it.
So there's Orange Springs before it was sprayed, and this is when the Paddle Florida group was coming through. And thereafter, you can see it's dead all around here, but that whole area will be brown. And so when the Paddle Florida people came, that's what they were met with. There's Kenwood, it constantly gets full. That's where we borrowed Bob's meter, and we were checking the dissolved oxygen and the temperature, and all of that's been sprayed. They spray it. Sometimes you can't even see the water out there. And it just happens over and over and over. Now, Larry Harvey is a Putnam County commissioner, and he stands up on the dam and with his cowboy hat, and he says, "This is our house. Nobody's going to tell us what to do with it."
Who said that?
Larry Harvey, county commissioner. He's the
Of
Save Rodman director. Yeah,
Oh,
Putnam
okay.
County. He said that water's so pristine coming out of the dam there, you can drink it right out of the river. So that's how pristine it is.
Make him drink it next time.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was after they had sprayed all the boat ramps and the canal. Oh, it was so nasty. So this, I'm kind of running out of time. This is part of the Greenways plan, and it talks about restoring the river and what it would look like. This part is not in the new plan. It says the Ocklawaha River is once just in appearance, but in function as well. The Ocklawaha is once again free-flowing and its formerly submerged floodplain is flourishing. The remnant scrubs, sandhill, and flatwoods in place when the state assumed ownership are flourishing and expanding due to a well-designed and executed prescribed burn and restoration regime. So they're talking about the Ocklawaha River is once again free-flowing. That is the plan. Now, getting the state to do that is a challenge. That's the same thing, but bigger. But the new plan does say that. So this is the economic study, and it found that there's the reservoir and there's the river section. The river provides more than twice the jobs as the reservoir and twice the amount of income. And I live up there. I've lived there since '90. Every bait shop has gone out of business. And a couple new ones have opened, and then they can't stay open, there's just no business. And the commissioners will tell you it's because Walmart came in and put all the bake shops out of business. The only remaining bake shop in Palaca is right next to the Walmart parking lot. I mean, right next to it. So the first one that should have gone out of business because of Walmart would have been that one. So it's just not true. This shows this is the Ocklawaha and St. Johns River visit stations are going up. And this is the reservoir visitation is going down. And these peaks kind of correspond with the drawdowns. It doesn't have it on there, but on other charts it does. More people go out there. This is during the drawdown. This is usually all flooded. Even Sasquatch likes the drawdown. There he is up there.
Is that you?
No, it's Sasquatch.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Florida.
This guy took plywood and he made a cutout.
Oh,
This is Deep
okay.
Creek. This is Bartram actually stopped here when he came across. That's a whole nother story. But this is a really nice little creek. It's a beautiful kayak during the drawdown, but it gets all full of plants. You can't get through it right now. So this is when they were building the dam. Here's the Ocklawaha right here. So they built the dam. Here's the spillway. They dredged all of that out, and then when they closed the gates here, and here's the bridge I was talking about. Have y'all been out there? Anybody been out there? You go over the dam this way, and go out to Hog Valley around here. So there's a lot of people that live out there, and they're hiking and four-wheeling and equestrian, all kinds of stuff. So really, you would need to put that bridge back there. A lot of people that live out there come into Palaca to work. It would be super inconvenient if you couldn't drive across there. But anyway, so they piled up a bunch of dirt over here, and then they collapsed the bridge, and they just pushed all this dirt in here and blocked up the river, and then this whole 9,000 acres flooded. And they didn't have to, because it wasn't gonna be completed. The St. Johns River Keeper organization put this illustration together that shows a restored Ocklawaha. Here's the dam right here, and there's the spillway and all the recreational facilities that are there. That's on the natural Ocklawaha level downstream, so that could all stay there. And then this shows the river restored. There's the bridge, and right now this is all underwater. It's the drowned forest, and the trees can grow back, get the natural system back. That's it.